gon' ball till it's over with. Ferrari with the paddle shift, looking like he's swerving, but it's just a Tokyo drift. Kept it real, never switch. Ride or die, homie. And every chick that I'm with look just like a Barbie. Can get a little cocky, okay, and what? And all the hating you been doing, it just ain't adding up. If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. Need to worry about how the fuck you gonna pay the rent. All this TA on my charts looking just like graffiti. Every time I see Mo, I'm screaming out, feed me. Little shopper, horror, come feed me some peach cobbler. It's all peaches and cream when you make a little profit. The Lord of Crypto posted up like a hobby. Tryna put some more coins in this motherfucking watch. Should I let my nuts hang or should I take profit? Gotta keep my eyes open even though I feel exhausted.
To choose.
Keep on grinding or you gon' cry. Stay in the nest or you gon' fly. Put up a few dollars or bet the whole pie. Bet the whole pie.
To choose.
You going long or Danny DeVito? You want a little bump or you want the whole kilo? Killing all your bills like Quentin Tarantino.
Choose.
It's a crypto world. Everybody wanna get a piece. Money will increase. If you learn about it, time to eat. It's a green candle up the bears. Don't grab the grease. On revenge trade. Up all night, I can't even sleep. The sun caught my ass again. Ain't no going back to sleep. Eyes red like I'm so big lion, not a sheep. It's a crypto world. Shout out to the crypto girl. Getting to the bag, the whole world. That's what you deserve. Time to swerve and bend the curve. Riding in the forest. Got on market cypher merch. Feeling like it's Ralph Lauren. Steering wheel in a Ferrari. I call that the wheel of fortune. I'm just trying to get my portion. Bending corners like a torch. Drop the top on a Rari. I call that the headless horseman. What the fuck you gon' do? Join the market cypher crew. Top the front desk, I need a room with a view. So I can see the Vegas strip. Stumping in my moon boots.
To choose.
Keep on grinding or you gon' cry. Stay in the nest or you gon' fly. Put up a few dollars or bet the whole pie. Bet the whole pie.
To choose.
You going long or Danny DeVito? You want a little bump or you want the whole kilo? Killing all your bills like Quentin Tarantino. All this TA on my charts looking just like graffiti. Oh, what? This TA on my charts. All this TA on my charts looking just like graffiti. Oh, what? All this TA on my charts. Just like graffiti. Charts looking just like graffiti. Just like graffiti. All this TA on my
Let's
charts. All this
go.
TA on my charts.
Let's go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to break down the news. We're going to break down all of the crypto Twitter nonsense, drama, beef. No, there's not that much beef going on, but we do have a little bit of beef from the Polygon CEO, the Polygon founder and dev, Sandeep, showing his kind of disdain for the Ethereum Foundation, which a lot of people kind of feel like that about the Ethereum Foundation. Don't feel like they're getting much support. But we have responses from Vitalik that we're going to cover. We're going to cover gold taking a 6% plunge like we said. We said, look, gold is busting up into all-time highs and people are FOMOing. And normally when we see retail FOMOing in and lining up to something, it's already kind of too late. That doesn't mean gold's going to not still go up and probably hit our target, which is probably going to be around $6,000 per ounce. But guess what? We think that the US government is playing a massive 24D chess move here to get the world bullish on gold, which, you know, it's a global debasement hedge trade that's happening right now. But I think there's more to it. Something kind of clicked in my Aquarius ADHD tinfoil hat brain, and I started connecting the dots with what Michael Saylor's been doing, with what all the bulls and BlackRock have been doing with Ethereum and Bitcoin, all the legislation that's been set up with the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, all the stable coins that are being minted, and we go into a stable coin super cycle. We start getting all the states being bullish and having the Bitcoin treasuries being set up. We have each state having a Bitcoin treasury set up. Cynthia Lummis is proposing a bill to sell the gold certificates in the gold that we have, which I think we have a lot more gold than we're led to believe. I think some people think we don't have any gold. I think we have a lot of it. And we're going to sell it at all-time highs. We're going to sell our gold at all-time highs, knowing that the whole system is going on chain. I mean, look at what the Federal Reserve just had a meeting talking about crypto payments and opening up the rails from ACH bank wire transfers, SWIFT, FedNow and all of these different rails to be able to open the gates into blockchain to be able to communicate with it. We're seeing this right now with Linnea, with Joseph Lubin and Linnea and the ETH Foundation helping Swift to build their own blockchain-based rail. AI is taking over, of course, and we all... we don't need to sell it, just reevaluate. Our gold is worth $42 per ounce. Yes, but I think what is happening is that there's going to be some repricing. I think we're going to play the video of what Cynthia Lummis proposed, and this is what got me thinking, oh my gosh, how do we actually purposefully kill the dollar and make people think that in the world, because the world reserve currency has been based in US dollars, but the dollar's been very weak, and so it's pushed people into gold. And also other nation states are also obviously purchasing Bitcoin as well. We're not the only ones, but I think what this might be is we sell our gold and we end up buying Bitcoin. We end up buying Bitcoin with it. And we're also already confiscated a crap ton of Bitcoin to begin with. So we already have a confiscated stack. Then we're going to have a stack that's basically propped up by selling our gold. So from the gold profits, man, it's just a lot. I think there's a lot happening right now. And I think the biggest signal for us being in a bull market is the fact that we have Coinbase acquiring Kobe's crypto fundraising platform, Echo, for $375 million. And then think about the $25 million they spent on the NFT to start back up the one season of only 8 episodes of this crypto show that was once a popular show back in the previous cycle. And so they paid $25 million for 8 episodes. And people are thinking that we're in a bear market, that crypto's over, like that was the top. So I think this is probably one of the biggest signals. I really do think that we are in a creator economy, that this content, that me, Army Piper, Trade Intuition, Alex O Crypto, Randy Hipper, all these people that are making crypto content on a daily basis, we're gonna be getting pieces of the pie, my friends. I really do believe this. We've been showing up for so long, every day, and this is giving me hope. Okay, it gives me hope. Now that doesn't mean that everyone is gonna get a piece of the pie. Geez, Kobe just took the whole damn pie. Just about took the whole pie. Now everyone is out on the timeline getting their camera ready. They're like, all right, when am I going to start my podcast? Let me get a little piece of this. So it's really interesting. So that's what's happening right now. That's we're going to go through some of the posts. We covered a little bit last night. If you tuned into the live stream last night, we definitely have some things to cover. Oh my gosh, guys. Army Piper said, we don't need to sell it. Let me get my chat up because I'm not. Yes, there we go. We don't need to sell it though. Why would we? Just reevaluate it, and it adds trillions into our GDP with the budget neutral maneuver. The term budget neutral has been in every Bitcoin bill. Trade Intuition said, dude, I would like a piece of that pie. I'm freaking starving, man. Well, go to Village Inn. They do have free pie Wednesdays at Village Inn. But welcome, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. We're battling being shadow banned. I really do think we've been shadow banned to hell and back. But I think we can break through. I think we'll be able to break through. But luckily, the AWS got fixed on Restream. We can stream to all of our platforms. We're streaming to freaking Kick, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and X. You can literally catch me everywhere. And we really do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in on a daily basis. So right now we have, Crypto Face is long. He's long in the bloodbath long. We had a nice little pullback on the market open, but guess what the market did? It gave us that 10 a.m. So it's really interesting how the market open, give it about 30 minutes, give it about 30 minutes to 45 minutes and we will get a basically a sweep recovery where they hit the lows, they get people excited pre-market, then they can get you on that market open. Give it 30 minutes and then you kind of see what happens on that 10 a.m. Rebound, if it's a possible rebound or more of a downturn. You just got to look at how the volume's coming in. The volume's looking good, and we have some bullish things happening. Like for instance, we had the Fed having a live, basically a live meeting about these new provisions that we're going to break down. So some bullish things. I think the ETF inflows are starting to come back in as we had some outflows recently, but we're starting to get some inflows in. Gold and metals have taken a hit. Gold and metal, precious metals just started plummeting, not just gold, but silver. So basically, I think this proves that like we were starting to get a little toppy. Silver still, I think, it has some room to grow. And I think profits are being taken out of gold and possibly could be going to silver, because silver hasn't really hit its all-time highs and its resistance that was built up from the 80s, then the early 2000s, and then now we're kind of just sitting at that resistance level, and we hit the resistance. And so gold, there was no resistance, it was just up only for a second. So it makes sense that we are taking the 6% plunge. But yeah, what we were talking about last night is that the total cryptocurrency market cap chart on the weekly, if you look at it on the weekly here, we're going to full screen it, and you can see that this is gold. The blue line is gold. So it's really, gold has been the forward leading indicator for the past 40 years, for a long time. But now that we have a new money system we're going to break down and give you the examples of why it's being adopted, why the Fed is having a meeting about it, why the SEC is having a whole digital, agenda. Can't think of any other word, but yeah, just a whole basically making the United States the digital asset capital of the world, because this is how the war is being fought. We talked about this. The real World War III is being fought on the blockchain and with AI. We think it's with like the boots on the ground and the nukes and all that stuff, but no, like this is the real war that's happening, is the weaponization of energy. So, because if you don't have energy, look at the places around the world that don't have good energy and they don't have good resources or access to resources. They're poor countries, and a lot of it is somewhat, they're just subject to a completely different type of life because of the access to the energy. So it is all about energy right now. That's why do you think America was hurting so bad for 4 years or even longer? Because we were outsourcing all of our energy and our efforts to China, to all these different countries, and we were doing all these backdoor deals that were not benefiting the American people. So a lot of people either lost their jobs, they were getting competition from overseas. Like, it's companies were saying, look, if we're going to be able to do this and save money, we're probably going to do it. So of course companies are going to choose to outsource a lot of their things to be able to save money and cut their margins and things like that. And so for the longest time, we were basically being sold out. Oh yeah, and David said we're very fortunate in North and South America. We've been stupid. Well, in South America, I mean, it's interesting because there's places that have good energy, and then there's some that are still kind of like has a hard time. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I really do think that this is where the focus needs to be. Is look, it's not boots on the ground. or necessarily land. Some of it really is land control, because that's a very much what Russia wants from Ukraine is land control. They want access to this particular point of Ukraine, and that's been the whole freaking point. Because Russia feels like if they don't have control of this, then they will end up getting it's basically more pressure from NATO, and then Russia loses their dominance as that power in the world. It's just basically as simple as that. You can go to everything else, but that is literally what it's based off of. They want to have their dominance and be able to access this point of land. It's pretty simple, and Ukraine is not willing to give it up. So there is some land that goes into it, of course, and with dominance as well with these countries. And so, but this is really what's happening. Blockchain and AI, new Cold War, algorithms versus empires, and energy wars, and autonomous economies basically taking over, and which one is going to be the one operating the best and high efficiency. And what do you think all of this is going to be powered by? The blockchain. It's not going to be powered by gold. It's going to be powered by gold. Yeah, gold is going to be used to basically as a mineral and a material, as well as silver, to be able to build all of these farms and data centers and all these things. So yes, that is also a little bit of why there's some gold being bought, but it has way more to do with as people in the world seeing it as a debasement trade. But we see the real debasement trade in crypto total market cap. Because acquiring the assets that are going to be used in the rails that are going to be used to mint the stable coins, to do all of this stuff that the government's going to be doing, everything's going to be on chain. So what's going to be used? Is it going to be Solana? Is it going to be Ethereum? Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be XRP? What is it going to be? Well, if we look at the ETFs, this is my best indicator of which altcoins are going to be more regulated, which means if it's more regulated, it has more long-lasting, it's graded better in terms of institutional adoption. It's not like Bitcoin has now proven itself, even with its volatility, to gain institutional adoption through the ETFs and retail. So now, instead of quote, taking the risk yourself and downloading a Bitcoin wallet and doing all this, you can just go to your financial advisor and say, I want crypto exposure. And then they're going to go and then look, you got all these choices of different ETFs that perform in different ways and perform in inflows and outflows, but also get you more tax sheltered exposure to crypto over a long period of time. And so this is why looking at the macro on Bitcoin, represented on the rainbow chart, is a great place to start to show you why it's been so spread out, because everything is starting to catch up. It's very lagging. Everything is very lagging in crypto right now. And we're going to get convinced that because right now, technically, we would consider to be at the top and in a bear market, go into a 2-year bear market. And then, everything is going to, start back up again in 2028 or 2027. I feel like more so we have been set up for the biggest financial transition, and we are being gaslit to think that that's not happening. And because we're trying to, most of these people that are calling this are crypto Twitter people. They're not even financial advisors. They're just accounts that have a lot of following and algorithm. So whenever they post something bearish, it pops up and that's what you end up seeing, which is a lot of the times more damaging than anything. So this is why we try to bookmark the stuff that proposes more so a long-term outlook for crypto and digital assets, because the name of the game right now is to just like immerse yourself in this. I know everyone's different. You got different things to worry about. You got, I get it. You're not going to be as like insane and passionate about wanting to learn about crypto, get people to start thinking about crypto and learn and know why this is happening. I see things like Kobe getting this NFT minted by Coinbase as a signal that let's send it, I think Thread Guy getting these 2 major partnerships, you know, for streaming. He's only been streaming for a year, maybe even less, maybe just for about a year. And for half of the time, the numbers were terrible. And most of the numbers were bots. But for the fact that Thread Guy had built up his account and the following through being in the NFT space in the previous cycle, because that's where he got his name and his following, or at least his credibility. So and he has baggage tied to him, but still is able to get the partnerships. This is what gives me hope. This is what still gives me hope, even though it kind of makes me a little, you know. That's what's just funny. All the creators out there were like, with 3,000 followers, were like, "Where's our contract?" And we forget the fact that, you know, Thread Guy and these accounts like Ansem, they literally have almost close to 1 million people following them, whether they're real accounts or not. You know, it's just what's happening here. But yeah, it gives me hope. It gives me hope for the future. But welcome, guys. Welcome. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here. I want to give a shout out to everyone who came in. We really appreciate it. You know, and I feel like are you guys you guys are wanting the trades, aren't you? You're wanting to see trades. I've been talking about gold a lot and how I have all these theories and trying to break down a little bit of the news and what's happening. I feel like you guys want to see the trades. You want to see trades. You want to see me either make money or lose money. You almost probably would like to even see me lose a trade because it's more entertaining. Because when a crypto face puts, he's like, because look, 7,000 people on X are watching him right now. And he's just going, oh, well, you know, we're going to put in this longer. Oh, let's go. Oh, my God. You know, and then, but people like it. They're like, take it. Oh, my God. You know, because it gets people's adrenaline going, you know. I went back to the basics and I'm trying to, like, this is what I'm talking about. You know, I'm talking about, like, what's the 3 steps for a successful super cycle bull run? Oh, you got to diversify. Oh, boring. Oh, you got to have multiple wallets and, you know, security set up and make sure you don't get, you know, cooked by having, you know, all your eggs in one basket. Oh, snooze fest. Oh, you have to, you know, be smart and have a hodl strategy, long-term outlook. Oh, snooze fest. Freaking snooze fest. You'd rather see me lose all my money and me scream. All right, let's get into the freaking news, my friends. Let's get into the freaking news. What streamers pulled up the rainbow chart recently? Not a single one. Who's pulling up the rainbow chart? All right. No one's pulling up the rainbow chart for you. Yeah, I'm learning. Yeah. No, I know. It's funny because I wish I'd listened to myself. As much as I've been pretty damn good at calling a lot of these moves, especially with gold and silver, even though I didn't want to believe it. Like, I even told my friend, my secret quant, who's like a gold master, he was like, gold's gonna like rip and it's gonna probably outperform Bitcoin on the year. And I said, you're crazy. You're crazy. But then I started looking at the chart and I was like, shit, he's probably right. I was like, he's probably right. Dang it. I can't be bullish all in on crypto and then realize that I might have to be buying gold right now. God, I don't know. But if we were to go back into our live streams and look at when we were charting gold and silver months and months and months ago, we were seeing this. We saw it. We were like, it's in this cup and handle pattern that's been forming over like 20 years. And this is why, if gold can do that, if gold can do this, why wouldn't I think crypto can do that? Do you understand? This is why I don't understand the bearishness of people that are in crypto, because we get convinced of these 6-month, 3-month pops. It goes up. People get excited. All the accounts start coming in. All the KOLs start posting and all their stuff. And then we crash again. And then the same KOLs come out saying it's over. It's done. So it's constant emotional pulls on everything. And really, it's quite annoying. So that is why I've tried my best to come here and give you the boomer correlation of something as simple as gold, and saying there's absolutely no freaking way that with what the government has been signaling to us, our own president, that the money system is switching over into crypto total market cap. Okay, that's where it's going. Where else can it go? Where else can it go? That makes sense to me. Please tell me in 2025, going into almost getting closer than further away to 2030, where those are the years where they prophesy in movies, in sci-fi, that we have AI singularity breakthrough and society will never be the same. We're just a few years away from that, my friends. And retail's lining up to buy gold. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's the biggest sidelining in history. All the while, we have everything that we've explained before of Trump signing executive orders for literally requiring 401ks to get crypto exposure through the ETFs. We have all these ETFs being set up, Solana becoming stronger, and also solidifying its dominance and saying, hey, even though we had that AWS attack, if you look at the blockchains that actually didn't go down during the AWS attack. Okay? Bitcoin, Solana, Cardano, Algorand, Hedera Hashgraph, ICP, Tezos, Clever, don't know about Clever, Pulse Chain, Avalanche, Zcash, Caspa, and DAG. I don't know what DAG is. I haven't. So this is Constellation, but DAG, I like the ticker. Decentralized or resilient infra multi-provider nodes, core network, and dexes like Packaswap and Lettuce Unaffected. Look at that. Look, here you go. Here's your bullish list of coins. You just buy. This is a nice little bag. Look, if you just bought this, you just say, okay, what wasn't affected by the monopoly of Amazon AWS cloud services? And here's your bag. We're gonna build a bag of this, and we're gonna put a couple $100 in all of these coins, and there's your bag. So, based on real-time reports on blockchain explorers, node operators, and community updates, the following major chains experience zero downtime to core operations, block production, consensus. Jesse Pollock's on the timeline all the time saying Base is the best. We all want to build on Base. You should build on Base. Coinbase is the best. We're building the best products. All the while, Base blockchain was down for over 30 hours and was massively affected. So all the while they're spending $25 million on an NFT, they probably should have put a little funds in their blockchain. Put a little work in the blockchain or your shitty app, my friends. No one even likes your app, and your customer service was outsourced to freaking India. And you also leaked all of customer funds and data and putting massive risk to your customers, but you want to spend $24 million on 8 episodes of a podcast. Okay, that's cool. Shows how smart you are, Coinbase. You're terrible, actually. And there's a reason why people make fun of you, because obviously your priorities are all out of whack and you have your heads up your asses. So just so you know. You talk a lot of talk, but then when push comes to shove and the internet gets attacked, okay, why did these stay up and your blockchain go down? Can you answer that? Probably not. You'll say, keep building, just like CZ does. How he'll avoid all of the questions that's been happening with Binance and the probes that are actually going into Binance of why they caused the biggest liquidation in crypto history. And they're like, I'll just keep building. You just keep building. Keep building. You better keep building. All right, so speaking of, some of those there were some privacy coins on that list, Zcash, okay? So interesting phenomena here. I saw this with Useless and now seeing it with Zcash. I thought it was just a meme coin derangement syndrome thing, but Zcash is the opposite. It's ancient tech coin. So why do they both have such outspoken haters? Hypothesis is that people have such incredible bad post-traumatic stress right now. And I've always said this, like, people do have some really bad PTSD in crypto. That's why people quit so much. And that's why you end up having to rebuild your bags multiple times, because people either get rugged, they get complacent, they get bored, then they start leverage trading, then they full port their entire portfolio into a trade, they lose it, then they quit. Then FOMO comes back in because prices start going back in, then they end up buying again. Oh, it's a nightmare. So the best thing to do is just continue to accumulate. Know your portfolio is going to swing around like a monkey, and your best thing that you can do is to literally fight yourself instead of PvPing with people, which is trading in the trench. You're just going against each other, and you start to hold and believe in something. You start to hold and believe in something. And it's hard to get to that point, but you have to get destroyed and you have to get cooked to get to that point sometimes. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. But yeah, I agree with this. Bad post-traumatic stress right now, and are affected with cynicism that any coin that's an outperformer or garners a perception that it must be because of dark, sinister forces. A price attention flywheel pump is just simply no longer possible. It never will be. It has to be a scam. No, this post is a grant. I said, Zcash, strongest alt leading the way up. Been that way for a while. Gigabrain's bullish on it, and somehow everyone offsides and hates it and hates its evangelists. He said, didn't expect anyone to care. Thought people would root for it. Said, thought people would root for it and buy instead. Somehow even casuals hate it. He said, and then Graham came in and said, China is the one buying all of it, just like they've been buying gold. They just choose the wrong privacy coin for whatever reason. And then I asked, well, what's the right one? And he said, Monero. And then Speed Demon said, what makes Monero better than Zcash? Graham said, my understanding is Zcash was created by a private company, whereas XMR, Monero, was created by criminals. Seems like the incentive structure to be private versus resistant to authority is higher for the latter. Yeah, Monero is the real legitimate privacy coin, feared and prosecuted by law enforcement and universally used by real criminals, which unfortunately also stifles price a bit. So thus why you see more of a short-term bid from speculators for Zcash every once in a while. But then Speed Demon said, well, I just looked at the XMR chart and it's giving me some FOMO, like the 4-cent tickets. He's quoting, the 4-cent ticker gave him that FOMO. And so we actually charted this last night. We charted Monero. We gave that example. We thought we'd tie this, this thread into the actual price. And we've been looking at Monero more so on the weekly, on the weekly here. We'll get gold off of here. And yeah, I do think alt season is coming, but alt season is going to be in Q1 of 2026. We've talked about this, and we think that that is when we're going to actually have an altcoin season. And it's interesting if you want to look at how we've been judging this, is we've been using Litecoin as the precursor. Once Litecoin is at like a range of 200 something, 250 in between this range, we think we're going to be basically in the peak of altcoin season. Like if Litecoin is at that price, then you'd bet the rest of the altcoins, like XRP. I think XRP at that point would be at like around $4.50 or $5. We got some bullish XRP news actually to cover today as well. So hopefully we can get to it, but we wanted to really get into these correlations with the privacy coins, the price targets for these, and why we think its potential could actually get to I think anywhere. Let's see, we got to log it. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to. Yeah, we needed it logged. I think we get Monero, Zcash being one of the like final rotations in the altcoin season. So we get privacy coins topping up to here. Monero hits $1,000. This is as Bitcoin is crashing. Bitcoin crashes, okay? I'm giving you the scenario here. This is going into 2026. So Bitcoin runs up going into Christmas in Q1 of this like Christmas this year, Q1, we get some, interesting Bitcoin action that ends up bringing us to Tindy's zone. Like we break 151 and we just start going. Okay? And at this point, we're going to see some sell pressure, especially getting in the 200,000. So like I think this right here is going to be what we look like going into the rest of this year in Q1. And what's going on, guys? If you're just coming in. And then at 200,000, we either get mass FOMO. I mean, it's just like retail just starts realizing, holy crap. But then that's usually when the price dumps, when retail finally is like, oh yeah, Bitcoin looks good here. They're going to, because like the world and mainstream media is going to start talking really truly about Bitcoin like they did back when it was like a couple $1,000. We had more media coverage on Bitcoin being thousands of just only a couple thousand than we've had it being over 100K for weeks on end. We've had Bitcoin being over 100K for weeks and weeks and weeks and should be main headline news, but obviously it's purposeful like that. It's purposeful like that. They're not going like when they want you to buy is usually at the top. It kind of sucks like that, but that's just usually how it is. Especially look at the gold. Look at gold. People lining the streets, melting down their freaking watches. Gold euphoria, gold rush. And look what happened. 6% down. They bought a top. So I think what could happen here is we get Bitcoin just crushing into these levels, because I think the exchanges should be ashamed of themselves because they don't actually hold as much Bitcoin probably as they say, and the exchanges have been losing Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been exiting off of exchanges for a long time now, and they're not telling you. And a lot of the Bitcoin is being accumulated up to be regulated in the ETFs over here. So all this offshore crap is probably going to end up being kaput, and this is why Binance did what they did. I think Binance did what they did because they know the jig is up and they are about to get probed. I've been seeing posts on Twitter all over the place, on X, about them potentially getting probed hard. And so I think Binance's days are over, and that's why they're putting so much of their money and their attention on the DEXs, because then they can just continue to do their little crimes. But yeah, Binance is toast. And going into the new money system, all the altcoins that have an ETF are going to be regulated. Okay, so let's go into a post here. Let's go into the bookmarks on why we are going to break this down. And it's very important because all this is going to do is lead you down the rabbit hole to then now figure out what you need to buy. Because I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm not here to give you the next 100x. I'm not going to be paid by some stupid shit coin, a couple $100 to then be like, oh guys, check out poo poo pee pee, slider coin. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to show you what big money is doing, why you should be bullish accumulating actual real crypto, build your bags up, and then literally ignore everything else. Ignore everything else. Ignore the noise. Ignore all the people calling for bear markets, and these people literally have no clue because they don't look at this stuff. They don't pay attention. They just want you to trench. They just want you to be convinced that they're a genius and that you need to get in their Telegram group so then you can be trenching on some garbage stuff. And that's not going to happen here. Okay. So this is major news, but no one is going to really pay attention to it because they're literally fighting about and paying attention to the wrong thing. Major news: the Federal Reserve's proposal for payment accounts to boost crypto and fintech access. Okay, so you see where things are starting to switch over here now. So today, during opening remarks as the Federal Reserve's Payment Innovation Conference, Governor Christopher Waller announced that the Fed is exploring a new framework for payment accounts, a limited version of traditional master accounts. This skinny master account would grant direct access to the Fed's payment rails, okay? So you know how huge this is? So the Fed has these payment rails, which is the FedNow, ACH, and wire transfers. And so to eligible non-bank institutions, including crypto firms, stablecoin issuers, and fintech payment innovators, without requiring a full banking charter or intermediary banks, which is normally what you'd had to have to do with the old system. So Waller emphasized that distributed ledgers and crypto are increasingly being woven into the fabric of the world, of the payment and financial systems, and are no longer on the fringes. No longer on the fringes, signaling a major shift toward integrating digital assets into mainstream finance. And you're telling me we're going in a bear market? You're telling me to sell right now and buy gold? Ooh. Okay. Now this is funny. If Ethereum core devs were paid millions per year or whatever developers make in private companies, then that would be the FUD today. Had it ever occurred to you that many folks work jobs they love regardless of pay? Not everyone is driven by money. Art chick. Good take. Now what is she referencing? So it was going around that one of the core developers in the Ethereum ecosystem was only paid $100,000 a year, and which is good. I mean that's good, but like it's probably pretty hard. It's a hard job. I mean, it's like coding and all that. Oh God, it's like, you lose so much sleep. You lose sleep. Like if you're a developer, you're just good luck getting a good night's sleep. I mean, you're just like, your brain's cooked. I mean, you have to have some serious nighttime routine to be able to get your brain to calm down. Cause I have to do that sometimes when I'm looking at screens all the time. But man, so the example is like Google or Meta. They're paying people $200,000 just to like go give compliments to people around the office. I mean, that's like how ridiculous some of the salaries for these companies are, because they've made so much money. You know, they used to, I mean, they probably literally pay a person $200,000 and his name is Gary, and Gary goes around to every office and he goes, "Oh, you just look so good today. Oh, Jennifer, that dress looks fantastic. Jim, did you cut your hair?" And Jim's like, "I did get a haircut." And Gary gets paid $200,000 to go around the office and give everyone compliments every day. So, so I get it why you would be like, you know, as a, you know, like $100,000 to literally be the butt of every single ETH FUD and dump is on the Ethereum Foundation and the developers, just, you know. So yeah, but people people work jobs and they get paid a certain amount, and it's not really about the money for them. They enjoy the job, you know. They enjoy the job. It's kind of like with me with drumming, you know, and also with crypto and stuff. It's like the things that I've done, like I have been able to get paid and do stuff in crypto. But also I've done it for a very long time, not getting paid at all. And I still continue to show up, and I still love it the same. You know, I've definitely learned a lot, but you know, at the end of the day, if I wasn't getting paid anything at all, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my wife would probably say otherwise. She'd be like, "Get a job, sir. Just running your mouth is not paying you anything on this platform, sir." The bums, like it's like the the Big Lebowski. The bums lost. Get a job, sir. Bums lost. Certain things have come to light, okay? Certain things have come to light. We need to address them. Marty Party says Peter Schiff is dumping gold for Bitcoin. What do you guys think? Is that happening right now? Yeah, gold, my friends, was hit. It was really cooking. It was cooking. Now, this is crazy. It would be wild if we actually saw gold go down and follow this trend, because last night we were talking about this. We were like, the last time gold had a tear up like this, it had a 25% correction. Okay? So we did the bar graph and we compared it to the last run that was a gold rush. You know, it was basically out of the financial crash, and we barred it from this portion here. It was like, I think it was this one. Or was it the 2000 crash? I think we did it from the 2000 crash. Yeah, it was the year 2000. Right at the bottom, right at the freaking beginning of the millennia. We barred it because it went up 327% from that bottom up to the peak, which was $1,000 an ounce. And from that $1,000 an ounce, it went down 35%. So what we did is we were like, all right, well, let's pull this thing and bar graph it to that, and to what we've had here from the bottom, which the bottom was in 2022. Very similar bottom for Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin's bottom was at 16,000. And then we had gold pull up to 107, about 100. So it's gone up 180%. So not as much as the last run, but that's what I was thinking. It's possible it could hit 5,000, but was this the local top here? So we think we can get that pullback 26%, and then we get a Bitcoin crypto wave coming in, and this is where we're going to get the switch over. We get it going into the total cryptocurrency market cap, goes in the ETFs, and then gold and metals kind of go sideways. And we see at the end of 2026, gold goes and hits this level, which is the over 5,000 mark. I don't know. I feel like that is a good breakdown of what could potentially happen here in the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months, with the correlation with what's happening with gold. And my theory links up with this particular analysis with Lummis.
The other thing is the proposal that I have and that President Trump has discussed about a strategic Bitcoin reserve or strategic Bitcoin stockpile, where the United States would acquire and hold Bitcoin for 20 years. Because of the way that Bitcoin has been appreciating since inception, this would be an asset that could help shore up the US dollar as the world reserve currency and serve as a reserve that could be used to reduce the national debt significantly. You know, the American people are still hurting from inflation, from high prices, and they want the national debt reduced. These are ways to do it with an asset that is immutable, can easily be held by the federal government in a variety of vaults, and that states can participate in as well. So this is the gold standard digital asset, and a strategic Bitcoin reserve is the way to embed it.
You know, we got off the gold standard a long time ago. My question is how much you would spend tax dollars at a time when we're talking about trying to reduce costs. How much would you spend on Bitcoin as part of this reserve?
We wouldn't have to spend any new dollars. We have reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're held at their 1970s value on the books, and then sell them into Bitcoin. That way, and then value their banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're
converted to current market fair value, which means that they were priced at whatever, like Army Piper was like, yeah, they're priced at like $47 an ounce. Well, guess what? They're about to price it at this fair market value at spot, and they're going to sell it into Bitcoin as part of the plan, the master plan, to solidify a Bitcoin standard, and our government basically running all like ledger operations and running it. And it would actually then re-strengthen the dollar because they had to kill it to convince the world to buy gold and do their bricks and do their thing and stop buying US treasuries and blah, 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 and all this stuff. So then they could go boom, literally like DDT, flip up, like head between the legs, boom, DDT. That is what America is doing right now. That's what I think, that is the master freaking crazy chess move that's happening right now. And it literally, I can see it happening as we're live streaming right now. It's literally happening. Gold just sold off at all-time highs, and Bitcoin is now at freaking 113,000. Like, holy crap. As we're running our mouth, we're missing the price action here because we're running our freaking mouth. The dang thing is now ranged from this 108, like basically this massive support, going up to 115. I thank Straight Intuition for popping in. I really appreciate it. You guys go check out Trade Intuition. He is also streaming. I think he's going to be streaming at 12. Well, actually, you know what? You got your stream set up? Let's get you redirected. I'm only going to send 9 people. I'm sorry. And actually, sorry, you're one of the 9 people that are in here. So you're only going to get sent 8 people, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe soon we'll be sending you over 1,000 people that are eager and willing to learn, and they're not running FOMOing to buy gold. They're FOMOing to learn crypto. So those days will be coming, my friend. Those days will be coming. All right, let's do the redirect customization, and let's see. We'll do that. Yeah, no problem. No problem. But yeah, guys, there's some really interesting things happening. There's some really interesting things happening. I hope we covered as much as we could. We covered, oh man. We had so much we wanted to cover. We could do like a crazy 2.5 hour live stream and continue to break down a bunch of different news and the charts and different altcoins and stuff like that. But we want to be, and the XRP, gosh. Hey, God, there's so much. There's so much we could cover. Maybe we'll just do a quick fast blast. Okay, the XRP era. Okay, you mentioned XRP. 1 billion NASDAQ listing and 1,000% liquidity surge mark a sensational comeback. So we've all heard for years that Ripple was going to have an IPO and an initial public offering on the stock market as Ripple. That is going to be apparently happening through different market structure. I think because so when a publicly listed company or regulated fund accumulates an asset on the open market, every purchase has real demand. There's no pre-mine, no discount, no OTC sweetheart deals. It's just market rate buying pressure that tightens the supply. Then we have the ETF coming for XRP. So we have some bullish momentum for XRP. So for you XRP Army people out there, we've talked about XRP hitting the fib. It's the 1618 fib and I think the 2618 fib of $4.50 or $5 we think would be like the best case scenario for XRP right now. It's looking like that could be really trucking up. And honestly, I think part of the altcoin season, XRP will be one of those that do perform pretty, So they're going to be a different type of institutional bridge. I think XRP still has that on lock. Like as we had Swift, like people thought, XRP is going to replace the Swift banking system. No, they're not. Swift is working with Linnea. XRP, I think, is going to be doing something different. So we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be kind of like this kind of like parallel narrative that's going to be happening alongside with Bitcoin's growth, Ethereum, and all that. So we just have to see. We just got to see. And BlackRock is pulling Bitcoin whales into Wall Street orbit. So what's happening now, like we talked about in the beginning of the live stream, a lot of people are wanting to not have like the risk or the exposure to crypto like we want. Like we want to like test everything. We want to have wallets. We want to like get in the grid. But old money and institutional money, they want trust. They want resilience. They want a good score, a good grade score of longevity. They want security. And so how do they get that? They get it through the ETFs. The ETFs have more less taxes. It's serviced and it's easier. So that's why I think the altcoin space in terms of the ETFs and the altcoins that are going to do really well over time as a long hold are going to be things like Litecoin, XRP, Avalanche, Solana, Ethereum. Anything that is going to be in this liquidity that's going to be coming in like that on all sides, that's what I want to focus on. But then you can obviously we're going down the the degen rabbit hole as well of focusing on certain things that we think are the most asymmetric upside. But yeah, there's so much to cover. But yeah, we're gonna stop talking. We got 2 minutes until Trade Intuition's live stream, so we're gonna push you over there. But we appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for coming in today. And if you want to directly support the channel, there's some links down in the description below. Just feel free to check those out if you want to. If you like this live stream, you like the content that I make, and you want me to continue, then this is the best way to do it. But even if you didn't support, I'm still going to come here. So I'm still going to come here and do live streams. I'm still going to continue to be passionate about this particular subject. And I think I'm in the right place at the right time. And I think you guys are as well. And you're a part of the Dojo crew. Coming to this live stream, you're immediately a part of the Dojo crew, and you are part of this live stream. You are just as a part of the show as me being the host. If you guys weren't showing up and giving me some questions, reminding me about stuff, keeping me on my toes in the chat, then we wouldn't have a show. So I really appreciate it. And there's also just a quick reminder. I wanted to show you guys something pretty cool. This is and so we were talking about Polygon. Polygon feeling like they weren't getting a lot of support from the Ethereum Foundation, and Sandeep was, kind of expressing his concerns. But we've always been bullish Polygon. Polygon was one of the first chains that we used, and we actually minted our own NFTs on here. So if you want to directly support the channel, you could purchase one of these NFTs, and it's pretty cool. They're Bitcoin inspired, and they're called Ordinalize, and there's a few of them for sale right now. So not like there's only just a few for sale. So if you go to the page, you go to listed, and we have 7 items for sale right now. But these are great. A lot of these are pretty rare ones, and they all have their own cool, unique style to them. They're really great. Yeah, but if you guys want to check them out, they're actually on danocrypto.com. So if you go to danocrypto.com, you can see them right here in this section as well. You can learn all about it. All right, my friends, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.